Hello everyone, today we are going to be discussing everything we know about Haunted Chocolatier so far. If you don't already know, the creator of Stardew Valley, Concerned Ape, is in the works of developing his next new game, otherwise known as Haunted Chocolatier. Now I don't know about you guys, but this is probably one of my most anticipated games of all time. I mean, Stardew Valley is such a beautifully made game with a massive world, longevity, and a captivating story. So I can only imagine the possibilities with Haunted Chocolatier. And thankfully we don't have to imagine all of it, because we do have a handful of screenshots, gameplay footage, music from Concerned Ape himself, and some speculation of gameplay across fans. I've taken it upon myself to compile a list of everything we know so far. And as of today, when I've uploaded this video, it is the 1 year anniversary of the announcement of this game. So in other words, this is 365 days of information about Haunted Chocolatier. This video is sponsored by me. I have an album coming out called Insomniac Dreams that is entirely written, arranged, and produced by myself. I was originally going to release this album in October this month, but unfortunately I will have to postpone the album due to Hurricane Ian ripping through my hometown. Fun. So yeah, I was without power for a couple days. Luckily my house is okay. A lot of people can't say the same. The major destruction that happened on our beaches is very, very close to my house. I could drive there right now if I could even get in there. A lot of my friends and my friends of friends have lost everything. I will leave a link in the description of places you can donate or how you can help. And eventually I will have a release date for my album, but as of right now, it's kind of up in the air. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get back to the video. First and foremost, we have to dissect Concerned Ape's blog. There's a ton of information on here, so let's just jump right into it. The very first post on this blog was posted October 8th, 2021, 1 year ago today. It's the early gameplay trailer announcement along with a lengthy text post from Concerned Ape. It says, "Why chocolate? I'm not sure. It just kind of came to me. I think sometimes the best ideas just appear in a flash instead of being cleverly thought out. That's how I like to work anyway. What's important is the execution, and after 10 years of practice, I feel more confident than ever in being able to bring an idea to life. Regardless, I think a lot of people like chocolate." In Stardew Valley, the focus was more humble, living off the land, growing food, and connecting to the people and nature around you. However, with my next game, I wanted to explore more fantastical possibilities, experiences that take you beyond the ordinary. That's where the magical haunted ghost chocolate comes in. Chocolate represents that which is delightful. The haunted castle represents the allure of the unknown. The ghosts represent the imprint of the past. All of these things are important. However, don't think for a moment that because this game features ghosts in a haunted castle, it is an evil or negative game. On the contrary, I intend for this game to be positive, uplifting, and life-affirming. However, if Stardew Valley mostly channeled the energy of the sun, Haunted Chocolatier channels the energy of the moon. Both are vital. I love that little comparison he made where Stardew Valley is the sun and Haunted Chocolatier is the moon. I just think it's beautiful. Now you might be scratching your head wondering exactly what type of game this is. I'm not sure how best to describe it. It's evolving organically as I develop it, but at its core, the gameplay loop involves gathering ingredients, making chocolate, and running a chocolate shop. Of course, there's a lot more to the game than that, but I don't want to get too deep into it at this early stage. So far, I've been having fun working on this game. There are so many possibilities. With Stardew Valley, I felt somewhat constrained because I was working within an established tradition. I don't regret that at all, but there's always been a part of me that wanted to go unleashed. I believe this will be a good opportunity, but I haven't even gotten to the good stuff yet. I've been mostly working on the meat and potatoes of the game so far, but what really brings the game to life is the spice, the sauce. I haven't really gotten to the sauce yet. That's coming. Anyway, this is all largely talk at this point. While the video I put together may look like the game is at an advanced stage of development, there's still a ton of stuff to do. And the way I work, things often don't come together until the final moments. I tend to work with a vertical slice approach. And so it's easy to put together some video that looks like a finished game, but there's a ton of content I still need to make. So please understand that it will be a while before this game is done. I'm going to be working on it as much as I can though. As of filming this video, the most recent post on the blog is December 25th, 2021, where he says, "I've been doing a lot of work on Haunted Chocolatier and making good progress. Mostly, I'm working on the core elements of the game. I will be doing this for a while. I don't really like sharing much because I'd rather let the game be a surprise than reveal everything. I just like working in secret." And now that we've seen the trailer in full, let's dissect it a little bit. The very first thing we see in the trailer is this gigantic castle in the distance. I have no idea what's going on there, but I want to go to there. Here we see some Super Mario 64 type shit where we jump into another dimension and the weather and scenery drastically changes. We can collect items here like nectar and berries and a whole carton of milk that comes out of a little bush monster for some reason. We get a glimpse of this cute ass chocolate making animation and a glimpse at ways we can decorate our chocolate shop. In the next clip, it makes it seem like we'll be able to expand the shop and make it larger as we go. See this little marking on the wall? Put a pin in that, because as we look at more screenshots and footage, this little marking is a reoccurring thing, and I don't know what to make of it. Here we can see a sneak peek at what seems to be a cutscene with a romanceable NPC named Lily. As we walk by the town hall, we come across some more NPCs and we are greeted with Maddie, who asks us about city living. Stardew Valley has a couple instances where NPCs will ask you questions if you happen to talk to them, and I hope that Untitled Chocolatier has a little more of that. It would be interesting to see how that could be expanded upon. Like, it would just be nice to have more in-depth interactions with the townspeople, other than they say something and I just can't say anything back, you know? Here we can see that gift giving is still a thing. This seems to be a cutscene with Concerned Abe's token emo boy, Jet. And if you wait till the very last second of this clip, you can see a little glimpse of Dr. Tungsten. The last character we meet is Nigel. It looks like Nigel's going to be our chocolatier boss. By the looks of his portrait, he looks a little intimidating, but by the looks of his character sprite, let's just say he looks a bit goofy. Now we will be taking a look at a series of screenshots posted to the blog. There are a ton of screenshots here and we are going to go through all of them, so buckle in. This is the first image we see on the homepage of the blog. This seems to be the blacksmith of the town that we see a glimpse of in the trailer, where we discover his name is Burke. Hopefully Burke is a little more charming and likable and less of an incel than Clint. The next image we see on the homepage are these ghosts, and I have a few questions about them. Are we friends? Do they work for me? Do I pay them? Are they unionized? These are the questions that I need answered, Concerned Ape. This seems to be our meth lab. I mean, our chocolate lab. You know what? Maybe this game is one big Breaking Bad allegory. You play as Walter White and the little ghosties are your little Jesse Pinkmans. But instead of making and selling meth, chocolate. This next image looks to be the chocolate emporium of the town. We can see some more buildings down below. Maybe there's some neighborhood housing for the villagers. Here we can see another example of those strange markings that I brought up earlier. There's a lot going on in this screenshot. A bunch of mysterious posters on the wall, a room with a mailbox, which kind of leads me to believe that this might be our bedroom and we live in this mansion somehow. Whatever this thing is. A character who seems to be a butler, and a temperature thermometer on the wall. It seems that temperature and weather plays a big role in this game. As you can see by this fire risk sign, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to affect the gameplay, but it's definitely something to think about. The fire risk seems to be overwhelmingly high in this image. That seems a little dangerous. Maybe there will be like forest fires or something. We can also see a new unknown character holding binoculars, and they also have at least 2 other telescopes in their house. Who or what are they looking for? In this image, we see some different chocolate bar recipes in what seems to be some sort of recipe book. The pages show you what ingredients you need for said chocolate, its value, its specific health boosts, and how long it will be in effect once eaten. Now, this image, it seems like a perfectly normal image at first glance. We see a couple different townspeople, some houses, a bakery, and what seems to be the blacksmith's shop. But if you look a little closer, there's something strange in this photo. Did you catch it yet? No, because why does this tree have a whole ass face? This just confirms there's some sort of magical witchcraft going on in this town, and I'm here for it. I'm not 100% sure what's going on in this photo. We seem to be in some man's house, and he's got a little creature in here, and it's the same little bush monster that we saw earlier that pooped out a carton of milk. What is this creature doing in this man's house? Is it his pet? I mean, there are literal pet bowls in the corner. I don't know. All I do know is this man is up to something. Maybe he like makes the monsters, like some sort of Frankenstein something, I don't know. This screenshot is very Stardew reminiscent. Nothing too wild going on here, just some beautiful landscape and some gameplay functions shown, like our inventory, health bar, and money. In this photo we see our ghosties who seem to be running our chocolate shop and some townspeople purchasing our chocolate. In the trailer we see that this little contraption is where we can craft countertops to display our chocolate on to sell them to the town. This is an interesting image. Here we can see a lot of those markings on the tree that we've been talking about. Now, these markings could just be a coincidence or a stylistic choice for the trees, but I like to believe there's some kind of backstory to these markings. Maybe the tree markings lead us somewhere. Maybe they lead us to that big castle that we saw in the beginning of the trailer. Or maybe there's like some sort of cult in the town that we have to, I don't know, take down. I don't know, but I think there's something going on with those markings. In the next screenshot, we see an inside look of the bakery that we saw a glimpse of earlier. We see a few new characters running the shop and another look at Dr. Tungsten. Some of these pastries look familiar to some food in Stardew Valley, like the iconic pink cake and what I like to call the titty muffins. Here we can see a couple new types of enemies. We've got crows, these weird void balls with eyes, and a walking fireball in the middle of some rundown woods. And the last image we see on the blog is another look at Burke and the inside of his shop/house. Now, I don't want to get your hopes up, but if we take a look at the top right corner, the money amount says 2023. That could just be nothing, but I don't know. Maybe something big will be announced about the game in 2023. I don't think that he'll drop the game in 2023. I think it will be at least 2 years before this game comes out, unfortunately. But who knows? Maybe some big announcement will come out about the game next year. There's also a section in the blog about Concerned Ape's approach to combat in this game. It seems like combat plays a huge role in this game, so this is what he has to say. Haunted Chocolatier has a greater focus on combat, so it needs to be very fun, satisfying, and engaging, while also appropriately fitting into the big picture. I'm not copying and pasting Stardew's combat. On the contrary, almost everything in Haunted Chocolatier, including the combat, is completely coded and drawn from scratch. You may have noticed there are shields in this game. Many attacks can be blocked with a shield. Blocking an attack can cause the enemy to become stunned. While an enemy is stunned, you can attack them much faster. The shield stun mechanic rewards more cautious, patient players who wait for a window of opportunity. But you don't have to play like this. You could just as well charge in aggressively, and if you can pull it off, you'll defeat enemies more quickly that way. There will be other offhand items besides shields that will complement different playstyles. Everything seen so far could still change before the game is finished. If you followed the development of Stardew Valley, this will be familiar. The bottom line is that I won't rest or release this game until I am personally satisfied that it's very fun and compelling in every aspect. If it never gets there, I'll just never release it. But don't worry, I have 100% faith that I'll get it there. Everything is on the right track so far. I have the complete vision for the game in my head, and it's just a matter of grinding it out, which is what I'm doing every day. So I pulled a couple notable FAQs on the blog. There are more FAQs on there if you'd like to go take a look at them. The blog will be in the description, but here's a couple that I thought were worth mentioning. Is the gameplay similar to Stardew Valley? In some ways, yes, but in many ways, no. The core gameplay and theming are quite a bit different. Haunted Chocolatier is more of an action RPG compared to Stardew Valley. And instead of a farm being the focal point of your endeavors, it's a chocolate shop. Is it multiplayer? No. Currently, it's just single player. I have no current plans to make it multiplayer. What platforms will it come out on? The only platform I am 100% certain about is PC. However, I have every intention of bringing it to the other major platforms as well. What languages will it have? The only language I know for sure at this point is English. That being said, I intend to localize to other languages, but I'm not even close to doing that yet. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so to speak. Now that we're up to date on the blog, I wanted to take a look at Concerned Ape's Twitter. I went on Twitter and I looked up Concerned Ape and Haunted Chocolatier, and here are some interesting tweets that I found. I'm very happy with my work on Haunted Chocolatier so far. In some ways, it's a very traditional game, but in other ways, it's kind of an oddball. Though I have more experience, I also have more ambition with the scope of this game in some ways. A fan asked Concerned Ape if he knows a price range for Haunted Chocolatier yet, and he said it won't be more than Stardew. Stardew is only $15 and it goes on sale quite often, so I'm very excited that we will have another amazing game at such an affordable price. When someone asked Concerned Ape how connected the lore will be between Stardew Valley and Haunted Chocolatier, he said, "It's gonna be its own separate game with a self-contained identity. It's not a Stardew 2, but there might be some shared lore. I haven't nailed down exactly to what degree the two will be connected." When asked how much of the game he has completed, he said, "No idea what percent it's at, and there's no detailed plan. I have a vision in my head, a few random textiles with loose ideas, and then I've just been making a game as I go." Another fan asked a similar question about the game's progress, and he said, "Progress is pretty good, but it does take a long time to make a game, and I'm making this completely from scratch. So it seems we'll be waiting a very long time before the game releases, which is a bummer, but totally understandable." Concerned Ape has also stated that he feels bad promoting Haunted Chocolatier when the 1.5 update for Stardew Valley is still not out on the mobile app. So I'm not expecting any major announcements about the game until that gets taken care of. So the only thing we can do right now is overanalyze the little bit of information that we do have. There are a couple more screenshots on Twitter that were not posted to the blog, so let's take a look at those. There's not really much to go off of in this screenshot other than the fact that we seem to be in some kind of old mansion. This room may be an extension of the big mansion that we saw earlier, the one that might be our house. Or it may be a whole new building entirely, who knows. The next tweet has two very contrasting photos. The first is what looks to be an abandoned winter cabin on top of a huge mountain. Maybe this is where we meet our ghost friends. That honestly seems pretty plausible considering this place looks haunted as hell. Now I want you to mentally prepare for this next screenshot, just purely because of how aesthetically pleasing it is to look at. Are you ready? Are you sure? Okay. Like, just look at this. I think the color scheme in this image is so cohesive and beautiful. I love all the little detail work on the side of the bus, and the little sprouts on top are just chef's kiss. I could sit in that chair for the rest of my life. What is this bus even doing in the middle of the woods? By the looks of it, it could be someone or something's home. There's another screenshot of a bee similar to the one that we saw earlier in the combat video, but a much larger bee, otherwise known as the bee boss. Which brings us to our next topic, music. The track we're listening to right now was released by Concerned Ape on his YouTube channel along with this image. Concerned Ape has stated that he is once again making all of the music himself from scratch for Haunted Chocolatier, which I, for one, am so happy to hear because Concerned Ape is literally a mastermind with his in-game music. I know I'm not the only one that will listen to Stardew Valley music while I'm not even playing Stardew Valley. It's just that good. This Bee Boss song was actually hinted about 5-6 months ago when Concerned Ape accidentally showed this on a live stream. These are audio files from the music making software called Reason that Concerned Ape makes his music on. Here we can see there may be a few different levels of the Bee Boss battle and so much more. Some file names that may hint at future characters and scenes are the Bear House songs. All I can think about with these ones is the Stardew Valley bear. If you know, you know. What if he makes a return as a little Easter egg? What if that's the connected lore? The bear. Some other interesting file names that we see are Beehive Scientist Room, Bird Zone, Bottle Beaver, Clown Show, and Corkinville. Maybe Corkinville is the name of the town that Haunted Chocolatier takes place in. I would also like to go through and point out a few of my favorite file names, including, but not limited to, Boss Fight 2, nah. Boss Fight 5, lame. Boss Fight 6, too much like Mario. Stupid melody, but possibly interesting. And I don't even know. He really has such a way with words. In this final segment, I wanted to highlight a couple of my favorite posts in the Haunted Chocolatier subreddit. Coincidence? I think not. A little inhabitant of the mansion. I asked Concerned Ape about the Haunted Chocolatier gameplay, and this is what he said about it. I just think it's so cool how responsive Concerned Ape is with his fans. Like, they just straight up DM'd him, and he just nonchalantly answered this person's questions in the DMs. What other, like, massively successful game developer does that? Call me delusional, but you can't convince me that this pool hustling blonde isn't Sam fulfilling his dreams of living in the big city. This post that I found leads us to an article interview by VG Kami with Concerned Ape. Most of the interview goes over things that we've already discussed, but there's one question in particular that I found worth mentioning. According to you, Stardew Valley drew heavy inspiration from Harvest Moon. For Haunted Chocolatier, was there anything you drew inspiration from? And if so, what is it? No, not really. Haunted Chocolatier started with me just messing around coding up an extremely simple game that was just one room and you could run around and swing a sword and fight some monsters. I just did that for fun. For some reason, I'm not sure. It all kind of evolved from there, and I had these different ideas that came to me. Now, I almost missed out on this little screenshot, but from scrolling through the subreddit, I found another leaked screenshot that he accidentally revealed on that same live stream that he leaked the files on. Concerned Ape needs to be a little more careful when he's on live streams. Actually, no, don't be more careful. I want to see it all. Concerned Ape accidentally tabbed out and showed what looks to be some more art of the ghosts. I found another article posted to the subreddit, and I thought it would be a good way to kind of wrap this whole thing up. It says, "The basic line is that I will not stop working on this game until I am completely happy that it is both entertaining and intriguing in every way. I'm not going to release it if it never gets there, but don't worry, I'm confident that I'll make it there. So far, everything is on track. I have a comprehensive vision of the game in my brain, and it's just a matter of polishing." And that, my friends, is all of the information I have compiled of 365 days of Haunted Chocolatier. From what we've seen so far, I think the art style for Haunted Chocolatier is absolutely stunning. It's got that signature Concerned Ape look, but he somehow managed to make it look even better. The colors, the characters, the environment. The world feels so nostalgic to Stardew Valley, but also so new and improved at the same time. I can't wait to figure out the new lore and see how all the townsfolk get along and our role that we play in that. I can't wait to meet all my little ghost besties and fatten up the town with our homemade chocolate. And I think that's it for this Haunted Chocolatier deep dive. I, for one, will be eagerly awaiting more updates, and I'm sure this game will be well worth the wait. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!